It is fantasy football draft weekend. It's fantasy football weekend here at Monmouth Park. Fantasy Sports Network Cup, the Flex Leagues draft. And now we're joined by one of my favorite tag teams here. It's Jarad Wilk Drew Loftis of the New York Post. Gentlemen, what's going on?
How are you? Great to be here.
Jared?
Amazing weekend.
It's gonna
Ready
be,
for it.
It's going to be super fun. You guys are currently, this is a little television secret, you are sitting on your betting books for here at Monmouth Park, just so you're keeping our table clear and keeping all of the action here on fantasy football.
All on fantasy football.
All on fantasy football. So which drafts are you gentlemen in tonight?
We're in the Fantasy Cup, picking 11th out of 14.
You're picking 11th out of 14th. How are you guys going to get along doing this? How are you going to be able to draft one team?
Well, that's going to be the fun of it. We're not. We're going to fight the whole way. It's going to be great.
We're just going to draft two different teams.
That doesn't seem like it's possible.
I want it to be possible. No, honestly, we actually stay up really late at night, and we've drafted about 20 leagues together already, just random ESPN standard leagues, and we've just and we tend to have a lot of the same players in common. We know each other's draft strategies.
So that's pretty good. So who do you guys like? Give me some names.
Well, one of the guys I was really on board with is Mark Ingram, Justin Forsett. I like some of the backs you could get at the tail end of the third round. But those guys have started to rise. And in a league this deep, I'm a little worried that we're going to get that second good running back in that third round. So it's got me a little worried, but at the same time, in a PPR, 14 teams, we can't bypass a wide receiver early. So I'm just crossing my fingers, hoping that the draft will break our way and we can get a guy we like in the end of the third round.
Drew mentioned here Justin Forsett's name. We haven't talked about much today, but Forsett is definitely someone that I think has risen and kind of just stayed in the exact same spot around the third round because, especially in a PPR league, he is somebody that everybody loves. Mark Trestman's running back last year, Matt Forte, caught over 100 passes. Justin Forsett is a passing down running back. Now he's going to get all the carries. Is he going to have a Matt Forte-like year?
I've been, since Trestman went there, I looked at Forte's numbers. Before Trestman went there, he was getting, 40, 50 catches a year. There was one year where he had like 60. Over the last couple of years with Trestman, he had like 80, 90, 100.
Right.
And then you're looking at an offense that really is lacking in huge, big-name receivers outside of Perriman, who's a little banged up right now, and Steve Smith.
And a rookie.
But you got the aging guy. I think Forsett is going to have a ton of opportunity out of backfield. I think he's well worth taking in that. If we can grab him, definitely 100%.
Drew Loftis, Jarad Wilk of the New York Post, hanging out with us here on Fantasy Football Weekend at Monmouth Park. And Drew, we compared Justin Forsett to Matt Forte for obvious reasons, right? It's the Trestman factor. Now, new offensive coordinator, Adam Gase, is in Chicago. And Matt Forte, one of those running backs where it's like, I don't even see him in a tier, right? You got your top 5 running backs in the first round. Then you get to the DeMarco Murray, LaShawn McCoy, Jeremy Hill, C.J. Anderson tier for everybody but Jake Seeley. But Matt Forte doesn't fit in either tier. It's weird. What do you think of Matt Forte this year?
I haven't been afraid to put him in that second tier.
You haven't? Okay.
Yeah, I'll say that with a qualification. I liked him a lot going into the season. John Fox is a guy that, without Peyton Manning as a quarterback, has always been a run-first kind of coach. So I expected Forte to get a heavy dose of carries. This is a guy who's shown he can still run with the ball. So I was pretty high on Forte going into the year. You start seeing what's coming out of training camp, what they look like on the field, and some of the dysfunction, and all of a sudden I'm not so sure on Forte. So I still think from a talent perspective and from an opportunity standpoint that I like him sort of at the end of that tier you were looking at.
Okay.
But and I would take him above, say, Ingram and Forsett.
And I agree with you. Personally, after that second tier, like I said, he doesn't fit in either one. He's that middle, he's that next guy, and then it's just a huge drop-off with the Mark Ingrams, Andre Ellingtons, Joe Randall, Lamar Miller. That is just the crew that I can't figure out quite yet.
That's where I'd sort of draw the line after the Ingram Forsett, before you get to Ellington and those guys.
Okay.
I'm starting to ebb Latavius Murray a little closer to that.
Right.
But there's that little group there that I just don't like between Morris, Carlos Hyde,
Joseph Randall?
Joseph Randall I'm not as down on. He's sort of settled into a spot a little ways behind those guys.
Okay.
So even though I didn't really like him and still worry that maybe he's could end up sharing some carries down the line, that I like him better than some of the guys picking that you would pick before him. So I don't mind waiting a spell and getting him, say, around after you would otherwise take an Alfred Morris.
Fair enough. Jarad Wilk and Drew Loftis hanging out with us at Monmouth Park Fantasy Football Weekend. They're trying to figure out how they're going to draft together. I've been doing the same thing. We talked a lot about running backs, guys, and we don't know who you're going to get in the first round. Of course, you can't predict the draft, but the wide receivers are also interesting because after you get past this top crew, and then you have your next crew with Brandon Cooks and Randall Cobb and all those guys, when you get into the third or fourth round, there's just as many question marks there with the wide receivers, right? We named the Ellingtons, the Morrises, the Randalls when it comes to running backs. But at the wide receiver position, Jarad, who do you like as a third wide receiver in those middle rounds? Is there a name that just sticks out to you? You can say no. I mean,
no.
If there's a no, if there is a no.
I mean, I'm like,
All right, I'll throw the names at you then.
Yeah.
Can I interest you in Deshaun Jackson?
No.
Oh, that's good.
No.
I can't wait till you guys disagree. Can I interest you in Sammy Watkins?
No. Definitely not. Not with the quarterback situation in Buffalo.
Can I interest you in Eric Decker?
Decker goes a little later.
You guys
See, we're a good team.
That's very
this
good.
is done without any practice whatsoever.
Wait, you have no idea. You have no idea what names I'm throwing out here. All right, so I gotta find
Except
one.
for that list that you wrote down right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there it is, yeah. Okay, so you guys don't like Decker, you don't like Deshaun Jackson. Give me one guy then. I'll give you more time to think, Jarad. Drew,
Thank you.
give me one of these wide receivers in the middle rounds you're comfortable with.
And I don't know how long he's going to stay in the middle, and he's rising past it pretty quick. Devontae Adams. I feel like that's a fellow who's probably going to settle in that third-round tier with Cooks, with Jordan Matthews, with DeAndre Hopkins, that eventually, if he's not there yet, he's going to be there soon. And I'm still going to be comfortable picking him there. But right now, he's in the middle, and I like him a lot there because I feel like that's really good value.
How early do you think, in an expert/celebrity-type league, which you're drafting in this afternoon, how early do you think you have to take him in order to get him?
If he's still there when we pick in the third, fourth turn, boy, I would be excited.
All right, now you've had your time to think, Jarad. Now it's on you.
Well, you
Give me a
mentioned
wide
Hopkins.
receiver.
I really like Hopkins.
Yeah.
In those rounds. The quarterback situation there I don't think is amazing, but Hopkins is the type of receiver that's just, when you're getting into those mid rounds and you're looking for that receiver, I think he's the next best.
Fair enough. Drew Loftis, Jarad Wilk, thank you so much for hanging out for a little while.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We appreciate it. We continue on from Fantasy Football Weekend here at Monmouth Park. Come hang out if you're watching us. Fantasy Football Weekend rolls on after this.